So real quick, back in the Microsoft Security Portal, and some organizations or many organizations already have some type of licensing with Microsoft. This tenant right here has an E5 license. And when you have the E5 license under email and collaboration, you have this attack simulation training. This is a wonderful way that if you already have this licensing in place, that you can get started with some type of security and awareness training program. So I want to show you how quick we can just get this started. So attack simulation and training, simulations, launch a simulation. So within the Microsoft suite, they have, it's quite a robust set of features in here. So on the first one, we have to select a technique, right? Credential harvest, attachments, links to malware, drive-by URL, OAuth consent grant, or if you're getting started, you can also just do a quick how-to guide to send that out to your users to show them when they receive a phishing email or a suspected phishing email, what do they do? What are the steps that they would need to do to report that? So that's a very powerful way to get started. But maybe in this one here, we'll use a credential harvest. So this is a phishing email that we're going to send to users that they're going to click on something and they are going to be prompted to enter their credentials. So let's look at that. First of all, we give it a name. One thing to note here is when you're naming these, depending on how your organization would utilize this, maybe you make this model demo August 2023, credential harvest. So we know that we've got track of that, and maybe next month we want to do a drive-by URL. So after we name it, they want you to select a payload and a login page. One thing to note here is this predicted compromise rate. And you can see that there's different types, but maybe a Facebook identity check, that's 34%. Maybe we try that one. And once we click on that, we can kind of get a preview of what it's going to look like. They're going to get an email that says your Facebook has been disabled for an identity check, and you've got to verify it and click on this button. And if you want to see what the login page is going to look like, once they click on it, it's going to look like this, and they type in their username and password. So we select that one and next. So depending on how your organization is set up, and you may want to do some pre-work to get a group of users that we're going to target, so it's not getting your other resource accounts, and that we can filter some of those out. So either you can use everyone in your organization, or if we had a specific group. See, I'll just select the Contoso team. And then further from that, if we wanted to exclude some users, we can do that at this step. And then based off of what happens, do we want to assign some training, or we can use the recommended. There's no training. You could redirect them to a customized URL. But within the Microsoft one, they can select some that are recommended, or you can select your own and then set a due date for what, we give the users 30 days to take the training. So next step here is to assign some training, and Microsoft has a good amount of training. They've got some recommended ones here. You can go through the all training section, and you can see here how long each one of these are. So some of them are very short, kind of medium, 7 minutes, maybe would be the longest that I see in this list here. So it's not overly burdensome on the users, right? They'll still be able to get in there, take their training, and move on. If you want, you can also preview that to kind of filter that down to one that you're really looking for to target some more specific type of training. So what happens? Do we want all users to take that training, or just the ones that are compromised, or the ones that clicked on the payload? I'll just select compromise for now. What does the landing page look like? Let me give you a little quick preview of this here. So once they click on it, they'll get this. Hey, you were just phished. It's okay. Let's learn from this. Give you some further details around the contents of it, what languages are supported. Oh, I should probably add that in there because I thought that was kind of neat. So if you want to help users, they may get these little payload indicators that will show different components of the email. Like, hey, this email looks weird. You don't usually get emails from this person. Be careful with these. Different pieces like that. You can add logos, and then down here add your landing page. Notifications, let me show you this here. So go into the recommended, whatever your default language is. So these positive reinforcements, preview of that. So if they report a phish, this is an email that they would get back, thank you for reporting that phishing message. What are the delivery preference? Let's do during the exam. Default, this is not applicable in this situation because it's only users that click the payload. And then training and reminder. Do you want to give them a twice a week reminder or a weekly that says, hey, you've, since you clicked that, you have to take this training? And how do we want to launch it? Immediately? Do we want to schedule this later? What time? How many days to end that? There we go. And do we want to have any regional time zone for delivery? Let's just do that. You can send a test to yourself to see what it's going to look like. And then once you're ready, click submit. And you wait. And you wait. And while that's saving, why is this important? Why do we want to have phish testing? Why do we want to have training? Depending on what cybersecurity framework your organization is basing your cybersecurity program around, there's going to be certain controls and safeguards around proving that you are doing phish testing and phish training. So within here, it's not going to show it right away. So we just started this. But after this event takes place, it's going to track and log how many users have been phish tested, how many have been compromised, and it's going to keep all of those records in this one system. So you're going to be able to satisfy some of those security framework controls by having phish testing and training and being able to produce logs of who has taken that training and when. So it's really important. So, if you're doing ISO 27001, there's going to be components, or different NIST frameworks are going to have components and requirements for phish testing and training. So maybe this is not the complete overall cybersecurity and awareness program, but this is one large component that you're going to need for your organization to just start to combat those stats that we were talking about earlier. 90-something% of all attacks start with a phishing email. How are we going to train our users, and how are we going to equip them to really be that last mile of defense in our organization, right? It only takes one click from one person, and starting here is a great foundation for having that as your part of your cybersecurity program. Back to this.